IGCSE Physics, Paper Code 0625, Paper 2 Variant 1, May June 19. Today we will solve question number 31 to question number 40. Question number 31. A lamp is to be connected in a circuit so that the potential difference across it can be varied from 0 to 6 volt. Which circuit would be more suitable? Here we have 4 circuits. Out of these 4 circuits, in the circuit A, circuit C and circuit D, this lamp is connected to two fixed points. Here it is connected to a fixed point, here it is connected to a fixed point, here it is connected to a fixed point. But here in option B, it is not connected to a fixed point. Here this probe we can move up and down. By moving this probe up and down, we can change the voltage. When two or more than two components that are connected in parallel, the voltage remains same. Since in option A, C and D, the lamp is connected in parallel with the other component, so here the voltage across the lamp will remain same. So in option A, C and D, we cannot change the voltage. The voltage will remain 6 volt. We can change the voltage only in the option B. Here we have a potentiometer. When we will move the probe up and down, by moving up and down, the voltage will be changed. So here our correct option is option B. Question number 32. Which logic gate is represented by the symbol shown? Here the symbol given is for an AND gate. So here AND gate is given in option A. So correct option, option A. Question number 33. The diagram shows a combination of logic gates. Which single logic gate is equivalent to this combination? Here this gate is an OR gate. It is OR gate and it is negation of OR. So the final one or the combination of these two will be OR plus negation. It will become NOR gate. So here it is NOR gate. NOR gate is given in option B. So correct option, option B. Question number 34. An alternating current AC power supply is connected in series with a resistor R and a diode. Which graph shows how the voltage V across the resistor R varies with time? Here we have a diode. What is function of diode? Diode can pass the current only in one direction, or we can say a diode can pass only positive cycle. It will stop the negative cycle. So in an alternating current, we have both positive and negative cycle. After passing the diode, the negative cycle will be stopped and only positive cycle will be passed. Now we check the options. In option A, here we are looking, we have both positive and negative cycle. So this option is incorrect. Here in option B, we have only positive cycle, but here this one is called double rectification, means here the negative cycle is converted to positive cycle. This action is done when we use two diodes in place of one diode. Since here we are using only one diode, so this one is also not possible. Here in option C, we are looking that here we have a positive cycle, negative cycle is stopped, then again positive cycle, then negative cycle is stopped. It is called half wave rectification that we get when we use single diode. Since here we are using single diode, so here we will have half wave rectification and the graph will be as shown in option C. So here our correct option is option C. In option D, we are looking, we have only one type of wave. We have only negative cycle, not the positive cycle. So here we have rectification, but this one is full wave rectification. It is not half wave rectification. This type of rectification we get when we use two diodes in place of one diode. So our correct option, option C, here we get half wave rectification because we are using here only one diode. Question number 35. An electric heater is plugged into the main supply using a fuse plug. The current in the heater is 10 ampere. The cable attached to the heater is rated at 15 ampere. The fuses available are rated 1 ampere, 3 ampere, 5 ampere and 13 ampere. Which fuse should be used? Here it is given the heater required 10 ampere of current. Here if we use a fuse of 1 ampere, 3 ampere or 5 ampere, it cannot carry a current of 10 ampere, it will be blown out. So here 1 ampere, 3 ampere, 5 ampere won't work. Here the only possible option is 13 ampere. We can use 13 ampere fuse because here we need the minimum amount of current of 10 ampere. So the current should be more than 10 ampere, it should not be less than 10 ampere. So our correct fuse rating should be 13 ampere. 13 ampere is given here in option D. So correct option D. Question number 36. What is the purpose of the commutator in a DC electric motor? Purpose of commutator is to change the direction of electrical current. Okay, we check the options. Option A, to control the speed. B, to reverse the direction of voltage. C, to reverse the direction of the current. So here our correct option C, it is used to reverse the direction of electrical current. Next question. Question number 37. The diagram shows a wire between two magnetic poles. The wire is connected in a circuit with an ammeter. The wire is moved downwards towards the bottom of the page. A current is induced in the wire. In which direction is the force on the wire caused by this current? Here we have to find out the direction of the force. To find out the direction of the force, we should know the direction of magnetic lines of force and also direction of the current in the wire. Now direction of the magnetic lines of force, we know it starts from North Pole and moves toward the South Pole. So direction of the magnetic lines of force is from North towards South. Means here it is from left to right. Now what about the direction of the electrical current in the wire? That is not given here. We have to use Fleming's right hand rule. If a current carrying conductor is moving in a magnetic field, then we have to use Fleming's right hand rule. What is Fleming's right hand rule? In Fleming's right hand rule, this first finger represents direction of magnetic field, this second finger represents direction of the electrical current, and this thumb represents the direction of the resultant force. Here our conductor is moving in the downward direction. So direction of thumb will be in downward direction. Direction of the magnetic field is from north to south, that is shown here. So with the help of Fleming's right hand rule, we can get the direction of electrical current, and the direction of electrical current will be anti-clockwise direction. It will be in this direction. Now we got the direction of electrical current in the wire, and also we have the direction of magnetic lines of force. With the help of direction of electrical current and with the help of direction of magnetic field, we can get the direction of resultant force. Now to get the direction of resultant force, we have to use Fleming's left hand rule. Before, to find out the direction of electrical current, we have used Fleming's right hand rule. Now we are going to use Fleming's left hand rule. In Fleming's left hand rule, we have to use our left hand, and the first finger of the left hand, it represents direction of magnetic lines of force. This second finger represents direction of electrical current, and this thumb represents direction of the resultant force because of the current carrying conductor. So by using Fleming's left-hand rule, we can get the direction of the resultant force and it will be in the upward direction. Now we check the options. In option D, it is given towards the top of the page. Top of the page means it is in the upward direction. So here our correct option is option D. Okay, next question. Question number 38. The chemical symbol for sodium is Na. The equation represents the radioactive decay of sodium-24. What are the number of X and Y? Here we have sodium. It is an artificial radioactive substance. When it decays, we get magnesium and we get a particle. For this particle, we have to find out the mass. And here for magnesium, we have to find out the charge number or we have to find out the atomic number. Now the total atomic number before the reaction should be equal to after the reaction. Here before the reaction atomic number is 11. Here it is -1. So here it should be 12. So that 12 minus 1 it will be 11. It will become same as before the reaction. So here value of X will be 12. Now 12 is given in option C and D. So possible options are C and D. Now what about the value of Y? Y is mass number. Here mass number is given 24 for sodium and here for magnesium mass number is also 24. So definitely for this particle the mass should be 0. So that 0 plus 24 will be equal to 24. Now value of Y means the mass of this particle E should be equal to 0. That is given in option C. So here correct option C. Value of X is 12 and value of Y is 0. Question number 39. A radioactive source emits alpha particle, beta particle and gamma rays into a vacuum where there is a magnetic field. The magnetic field acts perpendicularly into the plane of the paper. The paths X, Y and Z of the three types of radiation through the magnetic field are shown. Here this cross shows the magnetic lines of force that is moving into the paper. And here these lines are the radiations. Which radiation follows path X, path Y and path Z. Here we have three radiations X, Y and Z. These radiations X, Y, Z are alpha, beta and gamma. Now out of alpha, beta and gamma, gamma radiations have no charge. It is neutral. Since it has no charge, so it will not be deflected in the magnetic field. So here Y will be gamma rays. Now the remaining particles are alpha and beta. Alpha particles are positively charged whereas beta particles are negatively charged. Now mass of alpha particle is equal to mass of helium nucleus whereas mass of beta particle is equal to mass of an electron. Since mass of an electron is much less as compared to mass of helium nucleus, so here we can say mass of beta particle will be much less as compared to mass of alpha particle. Since mass of beta particle is much less, so it will be deflected more because it has less momentum as compared to alpha particle. So alpha particle and beta particle both will be deflected in the magnetic field, but alpha particle will be deflected less, whereas beta particle will be deflected more as compared to alpha particle. So here this X will represent alpha particle and this Z will represent beta particle. So here X is alpha, Y is gamma and Z is beta. Now X is alpha, Y is gamma and Z is beta, that is given in option B. So correct option B. Question number 40. A student measures the level of radiation emitted from a radioactive substance. He places a detector very close to the substance. He puts different absorbers between the radioactive substance and the detector. Here we have a radioactive substance, it is detector, and in between the radioactive substance and the detector, the student kept an absorber. The student's results are shown. These results are corrected for background radiation. Here we have absorber and here we have count rate per minute. When there is no absorber, the total count rate is 95. Now when he put a thin paper, the count rate is from 95 to 52. Out of alpha, beta and gamma radiations, alpha radiations can be stopped by a thin sheet of paper. Since here half of the rays are stopped, so here we can say in the radioactive rays we have alpha particle. Now after the thin paper, he kept few millimeter of aluminum. When he kept few millimeter of aluminum, the count rate is same. Before it was 52, again it is 52. By a sheet of aluminum, beta particles are stopped but gamma particles are not stopped. Since here by few millimeter of aluminum we are looking that number of particles are same, means here we don't have beta particle. Whatever be the radiations here it is passed, it will be gamma radiation because gamma radiations are not stopped by a piece of aluminum. So here we have two types of radiation. One is alpha and second is gamma, but we don't have beta. Since here alpha and gamma is given in option B, so correct option will be option B. Okay, now we have completed all the questions from the paper 2 variant 1 of May June 19. Thank you very much.